Hi, this is Chloe at magicalwellness.co. How often are you your own worst judge, thinking negative thoughts about yourself, thinking, oh, I did that wrong, or why didn't I do that? All those kinds of very critical questions that we throw at ourselves quite often, I think. I do at least. So anyhow, that's what today's Tapping Tuesday is going to be about. As it's Samhain or Halloween, I drew from the Halloween tarot and I got this chap, the King of Bats, who is the King of Swords in a regular deck. So as I say, what that brought up for me was the idea of being very self-critical. You know, he's sitting there in judgment, old Mr. Judgy Judge, yeah. And don't we do that to ourselves? Yeah, right. So let's let go of some of that judgment, let go of some of those negative self-thoughts. I'd like you to think about the judgments you've been making about yourself recently and write down a number from 0 to 10, where 10 is the most critical you could be of yourself and 0 is I've been perfectly nice to myself, I have no self-criticism whatsoever. And where do you fall on that scale? So, yeah. And let's make a start. Even though I have all these negative self-judgments, I completely and deeply love myself. Even though I have all these judgmental thoughts about myself, I completely and deeply accept myself. Even though I'm my own worst judge, I completely and deeply forgive myself. All these critical thoughts, all these judgments, all these ways that I bring myself down, these negative thoughts, these judgments I make of myself, all these critical thoughts, I'm my own worst judge, criticizing, nagging. Did you do this? You did that wrong. Why on earth did you do that? So judgmental, so critical. Take a moment to take a deep breath and tune back into that feeling of negative self-thoughts. See where it is at now. Once again, rate it on a scale of 0 to 10. And maybe it's reduced. It might even have gone up. That happens sometimes. Just keep tapping. Maybe it's stayed exactly the same. Whatever it is, I'd invite you to tap another round with me. Ready? This time we're going to use, it's a point called the sore spot, and you find it on your chest. It's actually part of your lymph system, and so it can be anywhere in this area. It moves around. I quite like rubbing on both sides. Sometimes one feels a bit more tender than the other. And when I say sore spot, it doesn't have to be like super painful. It's just that you notice it a little bit more and you're like, yeah, that feels a little bit tender. So move around until you find that spot, those spots, whatever works for you. I like doing both sides to kind of have a balance. Even if one side isn't as bad, it probably can still do with a little bit of TLC, right? And so with this one, you don't tap on it, you just rub it with a little bit of force, but not so that it hurts. Be kind to yourself. And we'll say once again, even though I have all these judgmental thoughts about myself, I completely and deeply love myself. Even though I have these critical words going around inside my head, I completely and deeply accept myself. Even though I'm my own worst judge, I completely and deeply forgive myself. Moving to the regular tapping. All these critical thoughts, these self-judgments, these thoughts that I have about what I've done wrong, about what I could have done better, what I should have done differently. All these thoughts that I stab myself with, like a sword in the heart. These negative judgments, the way I criticize myself, these negative self-thoughts, all these thoughts that I use to criticize myself, that I use to tell myself I'm just not good enough. All these negative thoughts that I stab myself with. Take a deep breath in and let it go. And I invite you to once again check in. How are you feeling now when you think about those self-judgments that you've been having? How strong are they? You can always go back, start from the beginning again, or perhaps you can move forward with your day a little bit more positively. Let's take one round of perhaps what you would like instead, what I would like instead. So this time just placing hands on heart, taking a few deep breaths. I welcome self-compassion. I welcome kindness. I welcome self-care. I can be kind to myself. Third eye point. I can be gentle to myself. I can show myself compassion. I can be my own cheerleader. I can take time to think about what I've done that was good. I can give myself a pep talk. I can feel gratitude for the times when I've done something kind for myself. I can be my own best friend. I can be kind to myself. And I invite you to place your hands at your heart, close your eyes. Take a slow deep breath in and just let it all out gently again. And imagine a time, it might be recently or further in the past, when you did something really kind for yourself. And maybe it was taking a beautiful warm bubble bath. Hey, maybe you even lit candles. Or maybe it was just saying no to something that was really not right for you. Or maybe it was that you did something well and you actually recognized that in yourself. So take a moment to tune into that moment from your past and really bring life and energy to it. Remember it in full detail and feel the positive energy that flows through you when you do something kind, when you honor yourself. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And I hope that you'll take that positive energy with you through the rest of your day. Blessed be.